My name's Suzanne Schultz and I'm a psychologist and a consultant and a coach. The Being Profile accreditation program that I took part in along with other people throughout Australia was a 2-day program, and what we did was we went quite deeply through the background, the development, the model, the context, why it mattered and how we communicate that with other people, as well as the practicalities of how do you set somebody up to take part in the accreditation, how do you deliver it, how do you then debrief somebody in order that they can look at that information and make a difference for their lives.
Over the past several years, I've been looking at how do I measure my students' development in their interpersonal skills and soft skills. What I was intrigued about with the Being Profile is it brings everything together and looks at relationships in one place. And that's what creates the power of the Being Profile, is individuals being able to see how they evolve by doing the Being Profile multiple times and seeing how their impact in their effectiveness and ways of being are interconnected.
When I decided to become accredited as a Being Profile practitioner, I went into this program expecting to learn about, the ways you measure a profile, but really it was based in a whole lot of philosophy and knowledge that was so robust and complex, but also so clear around what it was there to do and what it was there to measure. I felt that just my knowledge base around who we are as human beings and how we can measure that really grew.
Because I've done the Being Profile accreditation myself, I immediately saw the value not just to the management level of our organisation, but to coordinators, lead practitioners, people who have to have any sort of working relationship with other staff and with clients too.
Going through the Being Profile accreditation program really gave me a deeper insight into how the profile had been put together and why it had been put together the way it was. The various aspects of the profile, such as meta scores, moods and drivers, and the primary and secondary ways of being. And to understand, what each represented and how that would show up in my life or a client's life.
The Being Profile accreditation program is for coaches who are interested in coaching people or taking their performance to another level. It could be for someone who's a manager, business owner, someone who's got a team that they want to work with, or you could be in a community that you're actually interested in supporting people in a community to take their performance to a new level. So the Being Profile accreditation program, we actually take you right through from the beginning of the background of the Being Profile, why it was created in the first place, and then through all of the different aspects of the Being Profile, the different ways of being, and how you would actually sit down with someone and interpret their Being Profile with them powerfully, effectively, and consistently.
The Being Profile accreditation program is the process by which you're able to interpret the Being Profile for other people. It directs the coaching and highlights those elements that people may or may not want to work on.
For me, the Being Profile accreditation program actually enabled me to understand how to put it into practice, because I'd always been on one side of the program, but being able to learn how to communicate things and the 2-day process was actually incredible. You got to work with other people, be in workshops, and practically learn how to communicate.
I was working with someone doing a profile feedback, and he had a really high vulnerability score and a really high authenticity score. And what I got out of his sharing was that I use my impatience, anyone who knows me will know that I have a tendency to be that sometimes, as a way to armor up and to stop me from actually being vulnerable. That was totally transformative for me.
The Being Profile Accreditation Program is a 2-day program that is that first dive into what the Being Profile and the Being Framework are.
The main difference in using the Being Profile I have experienced as a professional coach is that it gives a practical direction. It's like a map of your way of being.
When I'm doing a debrief, or just before the debrief, when I'm telling people about the Being Profile, one of the first things I say to them is it's about performance.
Coaching has to deliver. It's about being empowered. And that's what I'm really about here, is empowering individuals to achieve their results by understanding who they have to be to get that result, and helping them plan and holding to account through that process.
The accreditation program is to support, coaches around the Being Profile and being able to debrief it with proficiency. I was uncertain as to whether it's something that I wanted to do. I've done a lot of professional development and a lot of areas of education and management and leadership, and when I did those 2 days, I had the experience of knowing myself at a deeper level.
The Being Profile Accreditation Program is a couple of days where you get together in a workshop environment to really understand ontological coaching and what the profile itself measures.
Having the opportunity to develop myself as a coach was the reason I put myself in the program. I saw that the structure was beautifully laid out, if you will. It's always been something that I've wanted to do. I've probably put it off for like 10 years, wanting to develop myself as a coach. And this conversation for transformation and being, it's a fairly new conversation for me.
Having the team trained in the Being framework now, there's a whole level of trust and communication that we never had as a team before. People are communicating daily and breaking down their walls.
The biggest difference having the Being Profile debrief under your belt. As a coach, it gives us a very powerful framework to quickly cause results with our clients, because we've got very specific areas that we can go to work on. So we can drill down very quickly to the heart of the matter.
So working with the Ingenesis team and the Being Profile Accreditation, I have a background in ontology. So, ways of being was not something particularly new to me. But as a coach, it was really, really difficult to be able to articulate and uncover people's ways of being in a coaching session. It was really like, how do I uncover those things?
Doing the Being Profile accreditations, it's been a really amazing journey for us to have that connection and communication and trust to be able to talk about the distinctions and how they may be impacting the individual, whether it's in their personal life or whether it's in their work environment. Having that understanding of each other assists their working relationships.
The Being Profile accreditation training is intensive but thorough. It's going to equip you with all of the things that you're going to need to know to run an effective profile interpretation session.
Over those 2 days, you in great depth go through the distinctions in the Being Profile, and you start to unpack them so that you understand them from the perspective of someone who is then going to sit down with another person and be able to go through them. You walk away feeling very confident and comfortable about being able to debrief someone's profile.
Once I went through the Being Profile debrief, which is a process that I love and I look forward to now with all my coaches, it made complete sense. It identified all of my blind spots, and until now, I still uncover blind spots that I never thought were there when I helped my coachee.
So I worked with a director of a company, and I went through her Being Profile with her. When I ran the Being Profile interpretation with her, she got to see that assertiveness and confidence were 2 areas that she could go to work on. It really resonated with her because often her communication had been aggressive. That had been the feedback that she had received. So this gave her an access to communicating a different way.
So what it has meant to me to be an accredited practitioner is really the credibility and authority that being accredited actually takes something and I'm able to give something.
The Being Profile Accreditation Program is about ensuring that you understand the depths of the profile. It's a great tool for people and teams and executives to have a look at where they're at and focus in on the relationships they have with all the aspects or the ways of being as a means in which to change things and improve their effectiveness and their participation and results in that team.